Okay, welcome to Life Coaching Classes and Videos by Universal Recovery 360. I am Pernell, President CEO of Universal Recovery 360. A little logo right there. Alright, so if you've been following my videos, then you kind of understand some things about Trilogy and the duality of people, of human beings. Today, I'm going to try to explain how the importance of knowing which plane a person is on, why it's so important to know. If a person is talking from here, you need to know that in order to respond correctly. If a person is talking from the heart or the flesh, you need to know that. If a person is talking from the soul plane, I'm sure you've heard that term before, you need to know that before you respond. The problem is one person is talking from the soul plane to a person that's listening, the mental plane, and so the person on the mental plane is responding and nobody's getting across to each other because you're not on the same planes. I'm going to give you an example of how people use the planes wrong. Okay, knowing is an experience that you get fleshly, through the flesh, by going through something, doing something, five senses: see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. Right? Mental processes are things that you hear and you can either identify with or empathize with. So, say a person tells you a story about their friend, right? And the friend got in trouble or something, right? They did something crazy, right? So now, one of your friends asks you about that same person, and instead of you telling them that somebody told you what they said, you start talking like you were there. So the person you're talking to thinks you're talking from the heart, but you're not, because of two simple words that you didn't use: he said or she said. Instead, you chose to tell the story like you were there. And so a lot of times you'll hear me say, were you there? Because it's important for me to know that if you're talking from here, but it sounds like it's coming from here, I can get confused if I don't pay attention to how you're saying it. And that's one of the benefits that I have with knowing how people work, is that I can tell the difference. But people don't. They get so caught up in the flesh, they get so caught up in their thought processes that they think they know it all. So you can't tell them nothing. So you have a person get real emotional and they not listening, right? That alone should tell you that this is cut off. They're not listening, so this is cut off. And they're emotional, so they coming from here, right? Then you have those people that don't get emotional, smile all the time, and you think they high strung, or they think they know everything. Mostly they coming from here, simply because they know where you are. Not because they're good at it, but simply because they know where you're at. So it's important that you understand the difference in the three. When a person is talking from a place of concern, it can be confusing because it can be either or. It can be mental, it can be spiritual, or it can be physical. You have to listen. You have to learn how to listen. You have to listen to learn, so that you can understand what people are saying to you and where they're coming from. I can't express this part enough. Most people fall short because they've heard something and they never took it to heart. It stayed up here, and then they gave it to somebody else without experiencing it first. So that means they gave it to them through an illusion. because you have to experience something to know what it is you're talking about, right? That's the definition of knowing, right? Knowledge gained through experience. People won't do that. They take whatever they hear and they just run with it. If you ask 90% of the people what's the definition of insanity, they'll tell you it's doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. And you ask them, how do they know that? And they'll say, it's what everybody say. But it's actually not true. Anybody that knows or did their own research knows that the definition of insanity is an unhealthy mind. No, unhealthy mind can be way more than one thing. Right? It can be way more than just doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. It could be not growing. It could be not comprehending. It could be a million different things. But people don't think for themselves. They don't take the time to learn. The world is too busy. And if you want to be a part of a world that's too busy or too caught up in things, you're living in the flesh. Simple. If you want to be creative and all you ever think about is creating, then you're living in the mind. Simple. You're helping other people, and that's all you think about is giving, caring, concern, right? Putting somebody else first, and you're probably living in the spirit. But you have to know the difference. That's why you need to take time and get to know the people you're around, because people are real. You ever heard that a person just pulled a 180 on you, like they were just the nicest person, and then one day they just snapped, and you were like, "Whoa, who is that?" Should have saw that coming. Should have saw that coming. Say it one more time. You should have saw that coming. Right? Most people swear, "Oh, he was the nicest guy," and then one day he hit me. Should have saw that coming. Right? She was the sweetest girl, and then she just took everything. You should have saw that coming. Stop closing your third eye. Stop going blind so that you can be with people. You know what I mean when I say that too. You just settle. Even if your gut, your heart, your mind, everything about that person tells you it ain't right, that physical attraction make you cut all that off and make you say things like, "I can fix that." "Oh, that's just a small thing. I can deal with that." Should have known. But we don't think like that. Because when we do, we think we're cold-hearted, selfish people. If you do it from up here, if you do it from the spirit plane, never be cold-hearted or selfish. Ever. It's impossible. Spirit is nothing but good. Right? Let me take that back. I'm going to say that a different way. The spirit is nothing but truth. And this is what I mean about saying things a certain way. Right? I need to make sure you understand the difference, right? Sometimes it's easier to identify with a person, but when you identify with a person and use terminology that they understand, you kind of take away from the message. So good was not a valuable word to use at that point. The spirit deals in truth, right? Truth is what brings good. There's a middle piece that's missing. It's almost like the insanity thing, right? The unhealthy mind causes you to do the same thing over and over and over, right? Something like that. So if you are trying to be a better person, right, but you always get caught up in what's going on around you, First, you have to learn how to not get caught up in everything that's going on around you before you can be a better person. See, the objective is to remove all the stuff that you did not learn, that you think you know, right? And replace it with stuff that you are experiencing for yourself so that you know, right? As long as you try to say, okay, I'm going to start fresh right now and move forward, you're not going to get anywhere. But you still use the same thought process. You're going to use the same physical process. You're going to use the same spiritual process you've been using. So the objective is to get rid of all that stuff that's not healthy for you, right? And you don't actually have to literally go backwards to remove that stuff, right? Because I don't know if anybody told you this yet. At some point, you're going to realize this, that universal means it's all in one lump sum. It's not back there, it's not up there, it's not up there, it's not down there. It's all right here. This is the definition of north, south, east, and west, right? This is the definition of arm, leg, arm, head. This is the definition of it. People don't put the two together to make sense out of it. Right? So they're either trying to move forward, they're trying to move backwards, they're trying to move up in the world, but they always end up at the bottom, right? All that's here. You got a top, you got a bottom. You got left, you got right. Right? You are the full representation of the universe. And yet all you want to do is get you a piece of this planet and be happy with it, right? Make the best of it. You are the definition of the universe. Why are you thinking so small? There's another thing I learned. You're going to earn things, right? You're going to earn things mentally, physically, and spiritually. They're not always going to come when you want them to. They're not always going to work when you need them to. But you are going to earn them. Be it for better or worse, you're going to earn them. So it's important that you learn how to use them. Right? I'm really not going to talk for a long time. I have a session to get prepared for. So I have to change out of these clothes and put on my life coaching clothes and go do my life coaching thing. But I want you guys to listen to this at least 3 times. And it's not because I want views. It's because that's the only way for you to get it. You need to get it threefold. You need to get it mentally, you need to get it physically, and you need to get it spiritually. And you can't do that in one sitting unless you are universal. You have united yourself, in other words. And that's why I use that term, universal recovery. 360 degrees. The government forced me to put the incorporated part. But if you keep watching, you start getting it, I promise. There's one thing that I know is that lessons are learned. Lessons are earned. Lessons are good. And they can also be misunderstood. So, if you're not sure, ask. If you don't know, say you don't know. Right? If you weren't there, say you weren't there. There's little things that you can do to start putting yourself on the right track. Eventually you'll notice a change. But I gotta go. And I'll pick back up on this another time. 15 minutes is good enough. It takes forever to upload these on videos. So, you guys be good to yourselves, be good to each other. I'll see you soon. Peace.